Good evening, everybody. Spirit of 420 here because everything I do is so wonderfully 420. It's just the lifestyle that I live and I love living it. I'm never going to change that. I promise. It's been this way since I was 14, and I imagine it'll be this way until I perish. And speaking of perishing, I had a few topics that I wanted to discuss before I told my story of the night. So I know some people probably think to themselves, why am I still doing this after losing a child? Well, actually, the fact that I've lost a child is a big driving force for me to still do this. Number one, the child I lost loved what I was doing, right? And loved why I was doing it. And in fact, all my boys are quite supportive of it. But another reason I keep doing it is I wanted to share this text that I got. This is a DM that I got from, and I'm just going to give a shout out. He goes by So High, and it's at So High 710. So kind of a cool name. I love your stories on YouTube, and you deserve way more love. But at the end of the day, you're inspiring every person who watches you. Keep it up. That really, when you get a message like that, all I can tell you is it's quite inspiring to me. It inspires me to keep doing this, but it's the exact reason that I am doing this, to inspire others. And to also, I've tried to explain this to several people, and some people get it, some people don't. But when I'm doing this and somebody, says that, that's great. But when I'm actually up here saying these things or preaching or whatever the case may be, the reality is that I'm really preaching to myself. And I've said that many times. So when I'm saying something, when I say you, I'm talking to me just as much. I hear it in my head, you, as in me. So just wanted to start off with that. Next subject, just real quick. Got a lot of stuff going on in my personal life. And that's why I had to take a hiatus. I am live tonight, and I have a pre-recorded show going out Thursday. Just so everybody knows, it's in two pieces, unfortunately. We ended up talking longer than an hour, and I can only stream up to an hour pre-recorded. So you've got, this is part one of probably a 2 or possibly 3-part series with Dave Swinbank. That'll be Thursday. So you'll see it come out. It'll start streaming at 4:20 p.m. Eastern time. And then part 2 will stream at 4:35, and part 1 is 30 minutes. So it actually gives you a 5-minute break in between each part, so you can go do whatever you want to do. Go have a cigarette, go use the bathroom, whatever. But part of the reason that I did the pre-recording and doing what I'm doing, I'm going to be taking a week off, pretty much as of, I don't know exactly when I'll be back. I'll either be back Monday or Wednesday, probably leaning more towards Wednesday so I can get everything I need to get done. I'm trying to prepare for a few things. My wife, my poor wife, I don't say that. I hate what she's having to go through, but I know that it's going to give her great relief. So she has 2 discs that are really bulging into her spinal cord, which is giving her, pain up and down. If anybody knows how the spine works, if you have something pushing up here, you can end up having pain in your feet, right? So she's having what is considered to be a very low risk, high probability of success, high success rate, low risk. And it's a surgery from the front where they're going to basically cut here and go in and replace 2 discs, not vertebrae, but 2 discs with artificial discs. Just hearing it kind of, gives anybody pause, but the other situation is in her lumbar and much more dangerous. So we're hoping that this will relieve what's going on down there, because that one we don't like. On the other side of the country, my father is now going to have a pacemaker put in, which is never, it's a good thing, but it's never something that you go, oh, yay, pacemaker. Now I get to worry about all those things that says, pacemaker beware, right? It's hot as balls in here, so I'm turning up the air. Anyway, regardless, he's getting a pacemaker, and that's a little, and funny enough, they wanted to schedule it. He's going to reschedule his, but they wanted to schedule on the same day that she's going in. How fucking crazy is that? People say there's no signs, or there's, things are just coincidence. I don't believe in them because they continue to happen. And, it's crazy, but I believe everybody's going to be okay. These things are relatively low risk, and what's the word? I don't want to use that word for fear of jinx. So I won't use it, but let's just say they, more times than not, a greater percentage, like in the 90 percentiles, go well. So we'll stick with that belief. The coffee is so good tonight. So I was thinking, what I might do here soon, because I'm trying to think of new things and to let y'all in just a little bit more. So I'm going to do a video of the way I make coffee, because I am a nerd, and it's so anal. My wife, I know, God bless my wife and my mother for putting up with it, because I have such a procedure. So I think I should just share it with y'all, and I will. We'll do that, and we'll have a video where we're making coffee and smoking bowls. Maybe joints. So tonight's story. This was back in '89. To be correct, funny enough, part of the reason I'm telling you this is tomorrow will mark, I'm 50. So it'll mark exactly 34 years ago that this transpired, because this happened on May 10th, 1989. Now, funny enough, tomorrow is also my father's birthday. So I went in to treatment and was tricked to go into treatment, by the way. And we'll get in all of that here in a minute, on my father's birthday, which conveniently enough is also 9 days prior to my birthday. So this happened 9 days prior to my 17th birthday, right? So to give a little bit of backstory, this was my junior year in high school, right? I had been in yet another school, new school, completely new this time. It wasn't just a new district. This was 100% new. I had never gone to school in this district or near it. I had gone to school in Georgia, but never where I was in Georgia this time. And I didn't start off the year well. So, to give you some backstory, you have to go back to the first day of school. On the first day of school, new kids, don't know any of them. I got suspended until, it's called suspension until parents meeting, right? Which means I stay home until my mom comes back in, or father, right? One of my parents come back in and have a meeting with the principal. First day. Now, some of you might ask, hey, what's up, Bob? How you doing, brother? And if you're already gone, man, I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. If I missed it too late, just know that I'll text you later, buddy. So where was I? Now, first day of school. How did I get that suspension? I was I didn't even make it through a whole day. You got to understand, I was literally sent home before period 6, number one. I think this was in fourth period, if my memory serves me correct. And the teacher was talking about something, and I was doing my normal thing. It was the first day of school. I was trying to be the class clown that I always am, and I was getting a lot of people laughing. And she called on me, thinking that I wouldn't be able to tell her the answer. And I had a real knack for listening to the teacher and telling jokes at the same time. I know people don't believe that, but it's absolutely true. And the teacher, this first day she met me, she called on me, and I was like, I gave her the answer, and I was like, see, I knew it. And I didn't say boom, but I said something else that was, like bam or something. I can't remember what it was, but I said something, and that was it, sent to the principal's office, and then I got the suspension. So it was groovy. Furthermore, throughout that school year, I cannot tell you how many times I ended up going back to that principal. So the belief at the time was that I was extremely angry, and they diagnosed me manic depressive, and that my anger was, like I was addicted to my anger, basically. Okay. Because I did have a real problem with authority, and I'm not going to deny it. And I had a real problem with anger. By that time, I was 16 and had not really dealt with all the anger that I had towards my father, or even the anger that I had towards my mother for her decisions on being gay. I had no problem with being gay. It was, the anger was more about what her being gay did to me growing up. And that's just the side product, or byproduct, excuse me. I mean, if you have a gay parent and you were living back in the 70s, then you're going to go through what I went through. Again, that's not to say that I'm angry at either one of these folks anymore. I love them dearly. I talk to them all the time. But at that time, there was a lot of anger, right? Now, my mom knew there was no way that I was willingly going to get into a car and go to a in-house treatment facility. Okay. So they pulled a really fast one. And I mean, and it worked beautifully. I didn't even give it a second thought, but my mother and her partner, because at this time marriage still wasn't legal for homosexuals, but my mother and her partner had really good friends, a lesbian couple in Atlanta, and I was really good friends with one of them. Had a son who was a year older than me, so we got along really well. And they were like, "Hey, we're going to go see so and so, and you and what's the name can hang out." Well, being very straightforward, going there meant that I was going to also get high. Now, even though I was already getting high, I didn't have readily available marijuana to me all the time. So getting high was a real treat in and of itself, still at 16. Yes, I'd been smoking for 2 years, but again, I was not an adult. I didn't have the capacity, nor the money, or the ability to keep marijuana all the time. So anytime that my mom was going somewhere that I knew there was going to be marijuana smoke, I was eagerly ready to go. So we jump in the car, and we're about they lived in Atlanta, and we're about an hour 10 from Atlanta, from their house. And that's how long the trip is. And as we're getting closer, obviously they knew, I know the way, right? And the way was getting ready to change. And I can't remember what my mom said first, but she was like, "So I think what she said is we're not going to so-and-so's." And I was like, "Oh, where are we going?" I still hadn't caught on yet, right? But it became abundantly clear to me very quickly where we were going, and that it had to do with the therapist that my mother and I had been seeing, right? And this was her recommendation. And it was apparently, I found out later, my father, everybody knew, right? It wasn't done on the sly or anything. My parents were in, what's the word? Agreement. I don't know that my father was in agreement with tricking me. I don't know that, but they were in agreement with putting me into treatment, and they did. Um, we pull up to the thing. Now I'm 16. I'm pretty much a full grown man. What I mean by that is I was already 6 feet tall. I was, buck 80, buck 85, and pretty strong with young vigor, right? So, not having ever been in this situation before, I decided I was going to stay in the car, and that was just it. I wasn't going to get out, because they had to tell me where I was going, and they had to tell me I was going to be staying there. It's in house, right? Impatient, and I was like, yeah, I'm not getting out of the car. Well, we sat there for a few moments, and then these two dudes, and when I say this, like, you think this stuff is cliche when you see it in the movies, but it's not. These two dudes that looked like basically bar bouncers that were all dressed in white sneakers, white pants, black belt, white t-shirt, right? Maybe had a collar, I can't remember. They come out and they're like, hey, son, we're here to get you out of the car. You're going to get out of the car whether you want to or not. Needless to say, I still didn't want to get out of the car. It literally took both of them. Both of them, with the help of my mother and her lover, to get me out of that car. I was not I was so mad. Oh my God, I was so angry when they finally maneuvered to get me out. If I had it to do over, I know I'd stay, because I would have wrapped the seat. They would have had to cut the seatbelt to get me out. But such is life. So I go in, and as I said in the description, it's funny because I went in there and told you. It was really because I'd been a real douchebag in my most recent year of school. I was very against authority, very angry, testy, whatever you want to call it, right? Not listening, pushing all the buttons, as well as constantly going beyond boundaries. And I will say, kudos to my mother, because they really gave it an effort. They took out a $10,000 loan and built a whole addition to the fucking room. And this is back in 1988 that they did this. So, I mean, that gives you an idea. Of talking $88. They took out a $10,000 loan, built an entire new room with my own bathroom. And within my room, I had TV, VCR, microwave. I had literally everything. I didn't drink coffee at the time, so there was no coffee maker. But had I drank coffee, they would have fucking done that too. I literally could go into my room and shut the door to the bathroom and lock it, and there had my own entrance as well. They built my own entrance so that I could come and go as I please as an adult. That wasn't good enough for me. I was still a dickhead. So, knowing why I went in there was not really an issue for me. I knew why I went in there. I just kept pushing it. I'd already gone to military school. If you remember, if you've been keeping up, I'd already gone to military school at 14 for much of the same reasons, right? Skip forward 2 years later, because that was freshman year and this is junior year. That's why I told you I was a new kid so many years, especially like the last 5 years of school. But anyway, I knew why I was there. I wasn't a dummy, right? But once I got in there, so they had what they call community, and that's where the main doctor, there was one doctor that saw the whole wing, and we were, I believe, if I'm getting this right, I was originally on the east side, right, which was psychiatric. The west side was drug and alcohol abuse, okay? Well, we mixed, both sides would mix for different activities. Like if we played what we called volleyball or basketball, like anytime we did a sport or anything like that, that was all the two would mix because they were all kids basically from, I think 12 was the youngest up to like 19, right? Well, I found out really quickly that not only did I like the counselors on the other side, but I liked most of the people on the other side, on the drug side. And everybody that I was hanging out with were truly loonies. And what I mean by that is no offense to them, but they had some serious problems. There was one guy that was 26 that stood like this tall, and he literally had the mind of a baby, right? He had been severely abused and sexually by his father and brother. I mean, it was like these people had some real detrimental problems, right? Not that I didn't, but I knew that I was bright enough to know, okay, this is not in the best, I'm not going to get what I need here. So I started real quickly sharing, and I got what I want, but I just started sharing the truth rather than hiding it. And so I had 3 doctors. How stupid is this? I had the therapist. She wasn't a doctor, but I had the therapist that recommended me going in there. Then I had a doctor with that therapist who was a psychiatrist that prescribed pills. And then I had a doctor at the hospital, right? And then you would also have one-on-ones with counselors and things like that. Well, my therapist always knew that Mom and I smoked pot together. But I made it seem like I was smoking a lot more and also drinking a lot more. Although I was drinking, don't get me wrong. I had, during my junior year, we would go to this little, what we called the Sunday liquor store. And it was these really cool old African-American family that literally made moonshine. And they would also buy shit tons of beer and sell you beer on Sundays because of the blue laws, right? But their moonshine was 175 proof. And we would go there in the mornings and get a pint of that shit plus a 6-pack and then have that a joint or two on the way to school, which was a 15-minute ride. So, and this is we're talking about the backcountry of Georgia, people. This was very common, and we would come in there just reeking of marijuana. So I really just shared almost everything and embellished it a little bit. The one thing I remember I said is that I had done acid, but I hadn't. And I think that might have been the tipper, but within a month, they moved me over. And there's more stories to that, and I will leave it. But I will tell you this one story of before I got moved. So before I got moved, like I said, we would mix. And I'd become really good friends with a couple of I didn't get moved for like a month. So a month in there, by the way, when you're in there for 5.5 months, a month is like, I can't even tell you how fucking long a month feels like when you're in inpatient treatment. Okay. It feels forever. But I had become pretty good friends, and there was like a group of us, 5 of us. And we were pretty, by this time I was already 17, because I told you I had 9 days in, I had my 17th birthday. And we were pretty open. I mean, when you're in this place, like you're learning to pretty much tell all your secrets to not only your doctor, but to everybody and get it all out in the open, right? So we were all very aware of the fact that we were sexually sexually depraved, right? I mean, the people I'm talking about were all 15, 16, 17, So, and there was even one girl in this bet. So we all came to this conclusion that we all knew we were masturbating on a consistent basis, right? So we had a bet as to who could do it the most in a day. Well, I was bound and determined to win this little contest, and I did win. What I share with people now, I'm going to actually share this. I won because I figured out how I could cheat by milking my own prostate. because by number 7, I was sore. I mean, truly sore. We're talking about, this was like within a 12-hour time span. But I quickly learned that I didn't really have to do a whole lot of anything if I did that. So I ended up getting 10 in one day. 10 in a day. Yes, it's the truth. The next best was, I think, 5 or 6. The girl only had 3, so I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, that's where I found the understanding of what I didn't know it was called milking the prostate, mind you. Hey, what's up, guy? Everything's going pretty well, man. If you're still there, I hope I didn't miss the comment because I forget to look over here. If you're still there, everything's going pretty well. I hope everything is going well for you over there on the New Zealand side of the world. Just out of curiosity, if you are still here, what time is it over there? So right now it is 7:47. What time is it for you over there in NZ? So while that guy thinks about it, I will say that was I didn't share that with those folks, mind you. I did not have quite the confidence nor whatever else, maybe, I don't know, to share how I ended up winning, right? And all I can tell you is even one of them was like, dude, you did not. And I was like, I swear to you, man, this, it was obviously based on, what's the word? A gentleman's, but there was a woman involved, but when it's just honor, right? The honor system, right? Like much like the contest, funny enough, except that one was the exact opposite. That was to withstain, right? But mine was not. What's up, Joe? How you doing, man? Good to see you, brother. Thank you for coming in and checking out. You'll have to go back and listen to all of it. I promise you it'll give you a laugh. But needless to say, that was how I spent a good portion of treatment. And I will tell some more stories from treatment later on. I will tell you this. We had the best time I had in there. Crafts was always awesome. Great. And I made a bunch of really cool things. But actually the best time I had in there was we would play this game called volleyball. And I think it's commonplace now, but basically it's the same concept as volleyball, except it's an inside gym. There's a net and you can hit off the walls and the ceiling. So believe it or not, what a great move is to slam it against the ceiling and have it slam down on their side, because it's quite difficult. And yeah, I knocked my finger. No, I'm not flipping you all off. I slammed my finger. But it is a lot of fun. I've never seen it played again since I left treatment. And all I can say is when we were in there, that was like, we would always vote, like, what do you guys want to do? Volleyball. We would play basketball too, and that was fun, but it was no comparison to volleyball. You would really get into it. So I figured based on, the concept of what I talked about at the beginning, I don't know if you remember, was the fact that everybody, we're all getting older. We're all moving forward. That's part of it. My father having surgery, my wife having surgery. Things don't work the same way that they used to on me. That's just, and the thing is, it doesn't matter who you are. You can really say that once you get into your 30s. So I thought that tonight would be good to go with grow old gracefully. How does that sound for a good one, right? Grow old gracefully. Growing old is mandatory. Growing up is optional. That's a bumper sticker. Isn't that funny? He added that one from a bumper sticker. All right, so here's a Jewish, here's a Jewish saying, cancer schmancer, as long as you're healthy. There you go. Oh, you know what? I like this one. This is by Lewis Nevelson. I never feel age, ... If you have creative work, you don't have age or time. There is so much truth to that. I will just say this. It seems like when you're creating, and this goes for all the growers in the world, all the, like anybody who's creating anything, whether it's growing a plant or being an artist, right, and making something out of clay or whatever the case may be, or food, as it is with Bob, you get lost. You feel like time almost stands still when you're in that place. That has been my feeling. This is Maria von Ebner Eschenbach. I'm pretty sure I said that right. Well, I'm not going to try to do it. Yep. Maria von Ebner Eschenbach. In youth, we learn. In old age, we understand. God, I think I say that one to my son almost every day. You know what? I don't really care for her, and I know a lot of people might not like that. It's just my opinion, but this one's from Bette Midler. After 30, a body has a mind of its own. Didn't I just touch on that? I think so. You know what? We'll do one more. All right, here you go. This is from Malcolm Forbes. As you get older, don't slow down, speed up. There's less time left. Isn't that one's awesome? I really like that one. Glad I saw that one before the end of the show. Not the end for me. Anyway, that does bring us to the end of another episode. I hope all of y'all had a cuckoo of an evening. I had a good time, of course, as always. By the way, I'll just throw it out there. If somebody wants to be a part of this show, all you got to do is leave a comment here. Oh, we got a message I missed. What's up, Joe? Oh. Fuck that. Old enough to know better, too young, or old enough to know better, too young to care. Always a big kid at heart. Isn't that the truth? I like the saying. I'm not. If you know me, Joe, you know that I have not grown up whatsoever when it comes to like half of me, and I never fucking will. But I will say this: in that particular quote, I do believe that as we get older, and I don't know how old you are, sir, so I don't, but at 51, I know a lot more, or have a lot better understanding of a lot of things that didn't make sense to me when I was younger, and my father would say things or my mother would say things. And I think that was, not to dispute you at all. 42, nice. I remember what it's like to be 42, dude. Turned 51 here in what is today? 10 days. And I'm just telling you, I'm sure you will agree with this already. I can't imagine that you don't agree with this. 22, 32, 42, they were all you, but three different men, and go back to 12, because that's how I look at it, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Those are all different men that have evolved, literally. Still the same kid at heart. In fact, I'm going to go do kitty things tonight. I got just a heads up. I'm also going to be making a new video because I just got my new toy that I'm going to make some really cool videos with. But I won't tell you exactly what it is. All I'll say is be looking for a video of me unwrapping a new toy, and know that toy is going to make some really cool new videos for all of you folks. And I hope that some of y'all even get to be a part of it later on. Love you, Joe, man. Appreciate your support, brother. Truly do. So always have fun. Always take care of that kid inside. I know I do. I take care of them both with love and support, and I play. I've been. It's funny because my youngest is 9, and so I've really been trying to get into playing with him again, because he still plays, and his imagination is off the fucking chart. Like, I literally look at him, he'll come up with a story, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Are you truly only 9? I mean, his imagination is truly incredible. So I love all of you. Stay that kid, take care of that kid. Remember what I say every time, and I'm gonna end up coming up with some words that I kind of use here each time. But the fact that you are you, the fact that nobody else is you, nobody else can think for you, do what you do. There is only one you. That makes you not just unique, but special and part of the puzzle that we all are part of. You have your place just as much as anybody else, equally. You move one piece out and the whole thing changes. That is the truth. That's due to the way it was formed, but I believe that's part of the 6 degrees of separation. You know, each of us react. We are kinetic in energy. So know that you're awesome. Know that I love you, and know that I hope all of y'all. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna be doing some new stuff. Trust me. I love Rob. You know I love Rob. I'm the one, dude. He'll tell you. So don't. I'm not stealing any thunder, but he was pretty much ready to bail out of this, and I gave him, renewed reason and vigor, because I was like, I won't tell you what I told him. That's between him and I. But what I told him was enough for him to do what he wants to do. Period. So, with that said, I love all you guys. I hope everybody has a wonderful, blessed week. I will be, just to remind you, Thursday there'll be a show streaming. It streams at 4:20 Eastern. That's going to be 2:20 Mountain Time. And, of course, it'll be thereafter. It's going to be streamed in 2 parts. I do know that I'm pretty sure that one's with Dave. So I'm going to try to make myself available, and I believe Dave's going to be available too. So we will still be in the chat, even though the stream is pre-recorded. We will be trying to keep an eye on the chat for the most part. Anyway, I love all you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Have a blessed evening. Have a blessed week. See you soon.
I switch hit, I'm a strange fuck. Consistent ain't something I could say well. Throw my change into the wishing for a change well. Wish a day a swell life for the next come. And when the next come, pretend that it's the best one. Like I ain't even gonna try and say that to the next one.